All right, guys, last one for today. So Ramon and Dano here. This is the three-man tractor pull. So I really like this exercise. I really like tractor pulls because it really focuses on paddling correctly and getting a lot of strength and developing that strength and endurance especially for regatta. There's a couple of things that I wanted to point out in this video. This is actually a really good example here. Ramon, I'm going to pick on you here. But one thing that we do notice is that similar to like weightlifting, and let's say you're going on a bench press, if you're bench pressing 50 pounds versus 200 pounds, right, there's going to be slight differentiation between your technique. So a guy like me at 200 pounds is super freaking heavy. So my technique is going to pretty much go out the window. I'm going to try to use my legs. I'm going to try to use my back, pretty much everything that I've got in order to push that down. So very similar to our first strokes here. We can kind of tell, and I'll compare it to a few of the middle strokes. What's happening is we're pushing down a little bit differently on the first couple of strokes because it's hard. So that's kind of what I want to point out here. So again, showing the trail of the top hands. Yeah, we cheated over here, so you can take a look at Connie's doing 4 guys, and we still didn't do very well on this first one. But so taking a look at the first stroke here, good drive, Ramon here. Dano, what happens right there is, okay, yes, the paddle angle stays straight, which is good, okay? I mean, you got a ton of body, ton of strength here. What's happening is right there is where you stop your drive, and we need to get a little bit more rotation out of your body. And so what's happening here, if you take a look, so you're pulling it back in, okay? So your pivot point now becomes your body, right? So there's no rotation. There's going to be a lot more power and rotation versus the hinge that you're doing. So right now you're using a lot of your lower back in order to pull the paddle back rather than using your twist, which there's going to be significantly more power. And I think that's why, earlier in the practice, I saw your feet actually lifting up, because right now what's happening is you're just pushing your body your body backwards, which, you kind of lose the grip there. So finishing your stroke right there, coming back up, and then a little early again, not too bad. So right there is when we're in the water, so it's good angles, right? So I mean, main thing is, we've got really good angles here, so you can see it. That's your paddle angle. Oops, this is Ramon's paddle angle. So really good angles. I like the angle here. Only thing though is that angle. And again, there's differing theories on this, but what happens is, I mean, that angle still stays positive, and you see how your top hand is moving back. And so do this again, top hand is here. So if you look in terms of leverage, you have significantly reduced leverage because your top hand, your pivot point, is moving along with that bottom point. And I can show you guys some kind of, I guess, tests so you can see the difference between pulling both arms versus leaving one arm in front of you and just pulling the other one. So Dano, I'm not trying to pick on you here, but this is a really good example, and I wanted to kind of bring this up to everybody so they can kind of see the differences here. So as you can see, you got 4 different lines here. So you got these 4 different lines, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. And notice how your pivot point no longer is at your top hand, right? The pivot point now becomes a point up here, right? So your pivot point is all the way up here. So I don't know if you can kind of tell. So I mean, like if you had lines going this way, I mean, oops. Oh yeah. So if you had lines coming all the way from here, right? So now your paddle has become this tall, right? So boom, 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 boom. So Dano, you're paddling with a 10-foot tall paddle, kind of like a stand-up paddle, right? So this is what's happening is your paddle angle is being I guess, significantly reduced or increased, or I don't know what it is. It's like you're paddling with the stand-up paddle. Your fulcrum now becomes this point up here. And so if you think about it, like stand-up paddlers versus a canoe, who's going to go faster? Obviously the canoe, because your paddle is significantly closer to the water and you're able to actually move that paddle along the way. So really, really good example here. Thank you, Dano, for being a good sport here. But I wanted to always kind of show this to everybody here. So as we go along, as you can see, the top hand is coming back to your body, and just like we said, right, it's just a matter of the fulcrum and the paddle angle going into the water. Consistent strokes, and then again pulling it back to you using that hinge on that body. Okay, so want to work on making sure that this here is more continuous motion that goes from the top all the way down to the bottom here. Your top hand wants to come all the way down over here. So good stuff here. Ramon, let's take a look at yours. So again, this is the very, very first stroke, which is good. You're driving that top arm down, using that hinge towards the back. We probably could smooth this out a bit, but I mean, overall, it's pretty solid. So this is the setup for that stroke, driving down, and then bouge right here. So that's the paddle angle, and then boom. And so see how Ramon's right here, his line is there. So his fulcrum still remains at this point right here. So his point is here. And so rather than pushing it back, his paddle is not up here, right? That angle point is not here. It stays in the front. And then this is where I want to try to figure out what that does for us, because like how Dano is here, right? So now your point is back here. So your paddle now becomes like a little bit longer, which, okay, yeah, it does pull the canoe back, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. But anyway, good stuff here. And I want to show one more thing. So these are the different strokes that what it looks like in the beginning of the run. So like I said, with the bench press, if you're benching, really, really heavy weights from the very beginning, or if you bench really heavy weights versus really, really light weights, the lightweight, your technique is going to be significantly better. So what I did was, this is in the middle of the run, and then we'll take a look at the path here. So see, Ramon, see how your top hand now is smoothed out a lot more, right? So I'll take a little screenshot and then show exactly where it is. So coming back here, so Ramon, this was the first several strokes. See how you got this kind of that pull here, but then over here it's real smooth. You got that crescent moon. All right, so want to see if we can try to get this thing here a little bit more smoother on that first stroke, driving that down, getting this down over here, just like how this one is. Yeah? And then Dano, let's take a look. About the same, but I think you're driving a little bit more on this one, so which is good. All right, so this is a good thing. I mean, you're consistent whether you're on first several strokes or your middle several strokes. So Dano, that's one thing that I want to point out to you. Hopefully this is helpful, and we'll continue going on here. But this is actually a really fun exercise, so hopefully we can continue doing this. So you can kind of take a look at Connie cheating back there, and see how this goes in the back. So, oh yeah, oh man, Connie was still going. Oh, okay, now he stopped. I was wondering why we jumped out on that start. But yeah, oh, okay. So again, not trying to pick on you, Dano. So right here, you're in the water and you're pulling already. So right about there is when you're in the water. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know, several frames in front, right? So in the water completely, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 9 frames. So 9 frames, I think, is about 2 to 3/10 of a second. So again, now I have that same problem. So you and me, buddy, we have to correct that and make sure that we're. All right, let's take a look at this first stroke, see if we got the timing on. Maybe you just have to paddle all one side, but yeah. So anyway, let's take this as a good constructive feedback. Oh yeah, look at that! Boom, 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 beautiful. Okay, so this side, actually this side is a little bit better, Dano. I like your drive on that top hand. I should have did a track path for this. So here, then driving down. Oh yeah, this side is better. Look at that. See how that comes all the way down a little bit further. So yeah, my apologies. I should have looked at both left and right side. So Dano, left side looks super solid. See this here? Drive, drive, drive. I want you to drive that down even further and twist your body to get a little bit more power. Yeah, solid. Right on, guys. Super stoked on this.